of the 9th annual Dirt Track World Championship. As you can see, there's many cars, well over 100 cars in the pits getting ready to do time trials. It's a little on the muddy side as it has rained the last 3 days down here, including overnight going into this, delaying the time trials, which were to start at approximately 1 o'clock. It's now going on 4 o'clock, but we are going to get the time trials in today, if at all possible, as we get into the format early Sunday morning. As you can see, there's many campers out there, which most of them had to be pulled into place by a tractor as it is really muddy. Up along the fences, people stand up there to watch the races. They've paid their ticket price to get in. We even have a race car sitting up along the fence. In fact, there's a couple of them there that haven't even bothered to come into the track. Donnie Moran's even sitting over in the backside up off of Pit Road there. Approximately right now the fifth session of hot laps on the track, waiting to get these time trials underway. There's drivers here from at least 15 different states to participate in this event. You have Larry Phillips there, an American-made chassis. He's 1989 NASCAR Midwestern Dirt Track champion. You have Willie Kraft in the car 83. Steve Francis out of Ashland, Kentucky, who finished second in the World of Outlaw points relay models. Bob Waring Sr., who's looking for his 600th career win. He has already collected 598 in his illustrious career. Larry Moore, all you have to do is say the name. The story tells itself. He's done it all. It's Mr. Mopar himself, Don Gross. For another set of hot laps. The 00 out of Kings Mountain, North Carolina is Freddie Smith. As you can see, he's picked up a major sponsor the last couple weeks. So we look down through the line of cars waiting to come out. K1, John Gill, an American-made house car. Ray Godsey says as long as he has John Gill as the driver, he'll leave the helmet hung up. Anticipating the time trials to begin. Everybody wants to be on TV. Is Billy Moyer Jr., the 1989 World of Outlaws Late Model Point Championship, as he overtook Steve Francis late in the season to win the point title.
Flying period. Mike Balzano has made 3 dirt track world championships. His best finish last year in 1988, where he finished up in the 4th position in 1988.
So Balzano coming by for the white flag to continue on with his qualifying. His first lap time was at 22.98, a 22.98 first lap time for Mike Balzano. As we see Balzano head down the back, shoot into that very tight number 3 and 4 corner, lifts the gas, hits the brake, steps on the gas again, coming off of corner number 4 to complete his qualifying session. Second lap time at 22.15. Second quick qualifier, Mike Balzano at 22.15.
Franklin in that Charlie Schwartz racing chassis with the drain-powered engine under the hood of that automobile. They call him the Virginia Leadfoot. Franklin down the back straightaway, hauls the car, keeps the car down this time. Looks to be a good time. Franklin very fast when it's tacky.
Franklin coming by his first lap time at 22.71, a 22.71 first lap time for Rodney Franklin. Getting the green flag and getting his qualifying underway. Driving the lucky numbered 13 car from right here in Pennsboro, West Virginia. This is Frank Wilson. Frank Wilson from Pennsboro in the 13 car. So Franklin's second lap time at 22.49, 22.49 the second lap time for Rodney Franklin. As Frank Wilson comes by for his first lap time, he'll turn the clock at 22.81, 22.81 for Frank Wilson in car 13.
Well, Frank Wilson made the first dirt track championship in 1981. He finished 14th and has not made the race since, and he would like to break that streak here in the 9th running in 1989.
Second lap time for Wilson at 22.88, a 22.88. To qualify, driving familiar number 72 car and a Malkett-powered C.J. Rayburn chassis 72 car. This is Racing John Mason from Millersburg, Ohio. Racing John Mason from Millersburg on the clock in car 72. Also out on the Speedway, driving the Skip Burdich's own number 34 car, Dave Hoffman from Renfrew, Pennsylvania. So Mason coming by for his first lap time, trips the clock at 22.30, 22.30 the first lap time for John Mason. Right now in car number 34 as Mason comes by for his second lap time. He trips the clock at a 22.13. John Mason now second quick qualifier on the afternoon so far. 22.13 for Mason on lap 2. Lap time for Dave Hoffman at 22.98, 22.98 for Dave Hoffman on his first lap. The driver out of Renfrew, Pennsylvania, driving the Skip Burgess own 34 car. Second lap time for Hoffman at 22.57, a 22.57 second lap time for Todd Hamill. They got Todd Andrews in the Hamill Enterprises Teddy Marketing 17A car underway right now with his qualifying as the black and gold car negotiates up through that number 2 corner.
Well, Todd Andrews had an excellent run going on in the qualifying heat races for the Hillbilly 100. Something going aboard wrong with the automobile, and Andrews failed to make the field back in September, and he was running very, very well for his first time ever here at the Speedway.
First lap time for Andrews at 24.06, 24.06, the first lap time for Todd Andrews. So green flag coming down now for Charlie Schwartz out of Ashland, Kentucky, driving a Schwartz chassis Malkett-powered car.
Charlie Schwartz going going down the back straightaway, going now into 3 and 4. Andrews just crossing the stripe.
His second lap time at 23.64, 23.64 for Andrews. As Swartz comes by, his first lap time at 22.24, 22.24 for Charlie Schwartz on lap number 1. Swartz has to break 22.13 to be second quick, or break 21.54 to be the top qualifier. He is your all-time track record holder here at Pennsboro. Charlie Schwartz coming in for his second lap time, trips the clock. 21.60 second quick, 21.60 second quick, Charlie Schwartz in car 2.
Well, Steve Baker in the Corbin Trucking Giant Eagle sponsored automobile out of the University City of Morgantown, West Virginia, in the Mark Richards Racing Bullet drain-powered automobile. As Baker finishing up last year in the 7th position in the 1988 event.
His first lap time for Steve Baker at 23.34, 23.34 first lap time for Steve Baker, as Big Jack Walker underway right now in the 0 car. Walker, a regular competitor in the Mid-Ohio area, hailing from Newark, Ohio, outside of Zanesville, Ohio. Second lap time for Steve Baker at 22.09, 22.09, the second lap time for Steve Baker, as Big Jack Walker brings his car around for his first lap time. Trips the clock at a 24.02, 24.02 for Jack Walker on his first lap. Walker racing at the Midway Speedway, also the R&R Speedway, a sometime competitor at the Tri-C Motor Speedway in Lakeville, Ohio. Jack Walker in the 0 car. Second lap time for Walker at 24.72, a 24.72 for Jack Walker.
Just right now, the James Finch-owned Phoenix Construction Rayburn automobile, Jeff Purvis. Purvis has made 5 dirt track world championship. His best finish was in 1986 when he finished up in the 3rd position. Always a top contender in the big money races, Jeff Purvis.
And Purvis bringing the Phoenix Construction car off the number 4 corner, coming by for his first lap time. Trips the clock at 22.77, 22.77, the first lap time for Jeff Purvis. Purvis on a hot streak back in the end of August and the beginning of September, as he picked up wins in the Jackson 100 over at Brownstown, as Purvis comes off the number 4 corner, coming in for his second lap time. Turns the clock at 22.57, 22.57, the second lap time for Jeff Purvis. The other volunteer state driver on the Speedway getting set to come by for his first lap time, the 5J car of Ronnie Johnson from Chattanooga, Tennessee. His first lap time at 23.03, 23.03, the first lap time for Ronnie Johnson.
Ronnie Johnson driving the Hawkeye Trucking Miller Brothers sponsored car number 5 out of the Knoxville, Tennessee area, regular at the Cleveland Speedway in Cleveland, Tennessee. Now crossing the stripe on his second and final lap of 2.
Second lap for Ronnie Johnson at 22.98. That's 22.98, the second lap time for Ronnie Johnson.
Driving the Hoover House car out of Warren, Ohio, for a 3-time winner of the World 100 over at Rossburg, Ohio, a former winner here. Definitely the only one of the 3 drivers to make this race since 1981, 8 years in a row, Larry Moore.
Coming by for his first lap time, it's a good one, 21.96, 21.96 for Larry Moore on his first lap. That would make him 3rd quick on the afternoon so far. Also on the Speedway from Hagerstown, Maryland, in car 24, Nathan Derberow. So Larry Moore coming by for his second lap time. Second lap time at 21.65, 3rd quick, 21.65 for Larry Moore on his second lap. He'll be 3rd quick. First lap time for Nathan Durborough at 23.51. A 2:3.51 first lap time for Nathan Durborough.
Where Durborough, coming off of a big win last Sunday at the Hagerstown Speedway, driving the Ray Vest excavating car out of the free state of Maryland. Coming across now for his second and final lap.
Second lap time for Nathan Durborough at 22.8. Is on the Speedway right now, driving the blue and red number 30 car. This car powered by a Dramey Racing motor. This is Mad Mark Banal from Dillonvale, Ohio. Mark Banal from Dillonvale, Ohio in car number 30. Banal coming in for his first lap time, trips the clock at 22.72, 22.72 the first lap time for Banal.
Well, you know, if there's a dark horse in the field, I think right here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Keep your eye on this car, number 30, the drain-powered automobile, Mark Banal. I think if he gets his act together, he'll be up front here tomorrow afternoon.
Second lap time for Banal at 22.33, 22.33 for Banal on his second lap. Coming by right now to pick up his first lap of qualifying is Tim Hitt in car 68. The young man turns the clock at 22.37, 22.37 for Tim Hitt out of Weston, West Virginia in the 68 car. A definite contender for Stars Rookie of the Year in 1989 is Tim Hitt.
Well, Hitt's got a battle going on with Butch McGill with just a few points separating both of those drivers, and it's all be determined tomorrow afternoon here at the Speedway.
Second lap time for Tim Hitt at 22.23 in the Carl E. Smith Incorporated sponsored S1 car. On the clock right now is Joe Meadows in the 33M car. So Joe Meadows coming by right now to pick up his first lap time. And having a clock difficulty again, the S1 car. Flagman will let Joe Meadows know one more go-round to keep the speed up. So we had another clock malfunction as Mike Smith on the clock right now in the S1 car. So Mike Smith coming in for his first lap time, turns the clock at 22.23, 22.23 first lap time for Mike Smith as Joe Meadows back underway right now in car 33. And Pete, Joe Meadows is hauling that thing into the corners.
Oh, definitely. Meadows will haul in about 2 cars deeper. As watch him as he goes into 3, really hauls that car, but really slides up high on the outside. That may have hurt him right there.
Second lap time for Mike Smith was a 22.01, a 22.01 second lap time for Mike Smith. First lap time for Joe Meadows at 21.82, a 21.82 for Joe Meadows. He would be the 4th quick qualifier so far this afternoon as he slingshots it off the number 4 corner. The young man out of Beckley, West Virginia. Second lap time at 21.71 to Marty Horton out of Ashland, Kentucky underway right now. Also on the Speedway in the 21M car, Billy Moyer from Batesville, Arkansas. So Marty Horton coming in for his first lap time. He'll turn the clock at 23.68, 23.68 the first lap time for Marty Horton as the 1986 Dirt Track World Champion Billy Moyer brings the Bill Day Tire sponsor car by for the green flag. Second lap time for Marty Horton at 24.01. 24.01 for Marty Horton as Billy Moyer comes off of corner 4, and he's got a good one going. Let's see what he turns. Moyer comes by at 21.76. 21.76 for Billy Moyer. That would make him 5th quick on the afternoon so far. The Batesville, Arkansas driver, 1989 World of Outlaws American Late Model Association point champion Billy Moyer. Second lap time for Moyer, 21.61, third quick on the afternoon, 21.61 for Billy Moyer on lap 2. Rises 55 car, young man out of Rockbridge, Bath, Virginia. This is Booper Bear in the number 55 car.
Well, Butch McGill driving the G&G Salvage Zavakis chassis automobile. This automobile is 6 years old. The car that Butch McGill is chauffeuring here today for his 2 laps of qualification.
His first lap time at 23.80, 23.80, the first lap time for Butch McGill. Again, 23.80, first lap time for Butch McGill as Booper Bear has difficulties in corner 1 and 2. McGill coming by for his second lap time at 23.18, 23.18, the second lap time for Butch McGill. First lap time for Booper Bear at 22.82, 22.82, the first lap time for Booper Bear. So Bear coming by for his second lap time. Now with 1 more lap to qualify. A young man, 18 years old, graduated this past June from his local high school and really making a good showing here this year in the late model wars.
Booper Bear driving the Bobby Allen prepared automobile from right on the bay in downtown Baltimore, Ohio, Allen's Garage.
So Booper Bear coming by for his second lap time at 22.10.
Races, and he has had just a little bit of trouble as he is over the embankment, but he has refired the car in the 83 automobile. Kraft in the Bullet Racing chassis, D&M Enterprises car going a little bit high up in turns 1 and 2, gathers the car back in and heads down that long back straightaway for his ride around this 100-year-old half-mile facility.
So Willie Kraft coming by for his first lap time, a regular competitor with the World of Outlaws American Late Model Association this year. His first lap time at 23.27, 23.27, the first lap time for Willie Kraft in car 83, as Jim Gentry will get the green flag next time by in the 14G car. Second lap time for Willie Kraft in car 83 at 22.57, 22.57, the second lap time for Willie Kraft. Jim Gentry will be coming by for his first lap time in the M&J Enterprises number 14G car. Gentry, a regular runner at the Buckeye Speedway and also the Tri-C Motor Speedway in Ohio. First lap time for Gentry at 23.27, 23.27 for Jim Gentry, looking to make his first ever appearance in the Dirt Track World Championship. So Jim Gentry coming by for his second lap time, trips the clock at a 23.74, 23. So Paul Croft out of Sumter, South Carolina underway right now in car number 57.
Croft driving a Ray Allen race car, very popular and a very good running car down in the southern part of the United States. Croft in one of his, I think his first appearance here at the Pennsboro Speedway.
First lap time for Paul Croft at 23.73, 23.73, the first lap time for Paul Croft. As Larry Miller underway right now in car number 9, the driver out of Charleston, West Virginia. Second lap time for Paul Croft at 24.02, 24.02, second lap time for Paul Croft. First lap time for Larry Miller at 23.66, 23.66 for Larry Miller in car number 9. Had to jump on the binders up in corner number 1 as he hauled it in too hard, just about jumped the cushion and got the guardrail. second lap time for Larry Miller at 25.68 to 2.
Tough one, and one of those Georgia bandits out of the southern part of the United States.
Knowles on the top side of corner 4. He's got a good one going. Let's see what he turns. His first lap time at 22.51. 22.51 for Wade Knowles on his first lap. A lot better getting through corner number 1 and 2 as Knowles on the hammer up into corner 3 and 4. On the clock also Bob Baldwin from Wellsville, New York. Knowles coming in now for his second lap time. He trips the clock at 22.52. 22.52 the second lap time for Wade Knowles as Bob Baldwin now comes by for his first lap time. He turns the clock at 24.07. 24.07 for Baldwin.
Bob Baldwin out of Wellsville, New York. They call him the Birdman in the Baldwin Logging. He's a regular at the McKean County Fair Raceway way up in northern Pennsylvania on the New York state line.
So Baldwin bringing the Hetzel Motors Baldwin logging car by his second lap time at 23.56. 23.56 for
Sponsored black number A55, the Black Bandit out of Racine, Ohio.
Bob Adams Jr. in the A55 car brings his car through the 3 and 4 corner, tries to get that right rear up against the cushion. Coming in for his first lap time, tripped the clock at 24.13. 24.13 the first lap time for Bob Adams Jr. as Gary Stuhler comes off corner number 4 to pick up the green flag and get his qualifying session underway. Second lap time for Bob Adams Jr. at 23.08. 23.08 the second lap time for Bob Adams Jr. as Gary Stuhler comes off of corner number 4 at a very slow pace. Stuhler off the pace in car 44 as he's having difficulties with the Riverside Auto Parts sponsored car. Virginia underway right now in the Russ's Transmission number 5M car. Also out on the speedway, driving the black number 99J car from Wapella, Iowa is Johnny Johnson. Johnny Johnson from Wapella, Iowa in car number 99. So McNeely on the top side of corner 4 comes by for his first lap time at 23.97. 23.97 the first lap time for Gene McNeely.
When Gene McNeely made the first dirt track race in 1981, and he finished up 12th that afternoon and has not put the car in the field since 1981, and he would like to end a 7-year drought here this afternoon.
McNeely coming by his second lap time at 23.67. 23.67 the second lap time for Gene McNeely. First lap time for Johnny Johnson at 23.35. 23.35 for the Hawkeye driver Johnny Johnson in the 99J. Johnny Johnson coming by his second lap time at 23.02.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Speedway, and also at the Motordrome 70 Speedway on Sunday night, runs the Central Pennsylvania circuit on a regular basis.
And Bradich having problems in 3 and 4. Jumped the cushion, slowed him up as he comes by for his first lap time at 24.99. A 24.99 first lap time for Lou Bradich as B.A. Malkin gets the green flag to get his qualifying underway in car 79.
Bradich, my correction, the McKinney's furniture-sponsored automobile in that 7 automobile. Here comes Bradich, keeping the car down on the inside this time for his second go.
His second lap time at 24.83. A 24.83 second lap time for Lou Bradich. First lap time for B.A. Malkin at 22.70. 22.70 for B.A. in the 79 car. And looks as though we'll have to give him the white flag one more time as he just about rear ends Bradich there from Utica, Ohio. So B.A. Malkett bringing the number 79 car around for his second and final qualifying lap. He'll turn the clock at 23:01, 23:01, the second lap time for B.A. Malkett. Randy Ridgway from Utica, Ohio, coming by for his first lap time at 24.14, 24.14, the first lap time for Randy Ridgway from Utica, Ohio. Again, a 24.14 first lap time for Ridgway. Second lap time for Randy Ridgway at 23.78, 23.78. The second lap time for Randy. Next driver out to qualify, driving the Gross Lumber sponsor number 75 G car. This is Don Gross from Worcester, Ohio. Don Gross from Worcester, Ohio, underway now in the 75 G car. Also on the Speedway, and the S2 car would be Eddie Smith from Mineral Wells, West Virginia. Don Gross coming by for his first lap time at 23.99, 23.99, the first lap time for Don Gross in the 75G, as Eddie Smith will get the green flag this time by to get his qualifying underway. Second lap time for Don Gross at 24.07, 24.07 for Don Gross in the 75G. Gross using a Mopar block underneath the hood of that 75G car. First lap time for Eddie Smith in the S2 at 24.19, and does not sound good for the Mineral Wells, West Virginia driver Eddie Smith in the S2. As Smith, you could hear So the qualifying will continue on. The next driver out on the track driving the 7P car out of Chicago, Illinois, and the dependable carburetor rebuilder sponsor number 7P car. This is Little John Provenzano. Little John Provenzano in the 7P. Lap time for Provenzano at 24.98, 24.98, the first lap time for John Provenzano. Also on the clock right now in car number 16 from Pilgrim, Kentucky is Paul Davis. Paul Davis from Pilgrim, Kentucky in the 16 car. As Provenzano comes off the number 4 corner, brings the car by for his second lap time, trips the clock at 23.30, 23.30 for Provenzano. First lap time for Paul Davis at 22.67, 22.67 for the 16 car of Paul Davis.
Paul Davis in that Charlie Swartz Racing chassis, Don's Carpet sponsored automobile on his second attempt here as the cars start to wind down here in qualifications.
Second lap time for Paul Davis at 22.51.
Kevin Gundaker in the Gundaker Realtor Tri-Sun sponsored automobile. Gundaker was formerly out of St. Louis, Missouri, now calling St. Charles home for Kevin Gundaker in car number 11.
So Gundaker brings that beautiful looking car off the number 4 corner, comes in for his first lap time at 22.57, 22.57 for Kevin Gundaker on his first lap. Underway right now in the Midwest Resources sponsored 7C car, the United Midwestern Promoters Point champion from 1988, Jim Curry in the number 7C car. Gundaker coming by for his second lap time at 24.24, 24.24 for Gundaker on his second lap. Curry coming by for his first lap time at 24.65, 24.65 for Curry on his first lap, and he's got to be having problems handling the car with the front lip of the hood coming up on that number 7 car.
Oh, what a bad break for Jim Curry. That affecting that car, lifting the front end of that automobile way off of the ground as the air going completely underneath of that hood, and that hood just like a front spoiler. Oh, a good tough break for Jim Curry.
His second lap time at 24.97. New York, Dick Barton Dick Martin from Lakewood, New York, driving the Coors-sponsored 14B.
Well, Dave Johnson really hauling the car down into turn one. Got in a little bit of trouble in there, just a little bit too deep. Let the car drift up a little bit on the high side. Let's see if Johnson can correct it as he comes out of turn 3 and 4 that time.
Puts the rear end up on the cushion as he comes by his first lap time at 22.93. 22.93, the first lap time for Dave Johnson. Green flag coming down now for the 14B car of Dick Barton. So Juice coming in off the number 4 corner. Second lap time at 22.28, 22.28, the second lap time for Dave Johnson. Coming by for the first lap time is Dick Barton. His first lap time at 22.45, 22.45 for Dick Barton, the driver out of Lakewood, New York. Car is sponsored by Coors and Napa. Regular competitor at the State Line New York Speedway, Dick Martin coming by his second lap time at 21.93, 21.93 for Dick Martin.
Up in the outside retaining wall. That's what you're seeing going on right now.
Qualifying continues on. Green flag down on the number 15 R car. Parkersburg, West Virginia's Ken Riddle. Ken Riddle from Parkersburg, West Virginia on the clock. And the red, white, and blue number 15 car. Also on the speedway, driving the 75P car from Springfield, Missouri, Larry Phillips. First lap time for Ken Riddle at 24.84, 24.84 first lap time for Ken Riddle. Green flag will be coming down on Larry Phillips out of Springfield, Missouri as he's now underway. So Ken Riddle coming off the number 4 corner, doing a lot of racing this year at the Skyline Speedway in Stewart, Ohio. His second lap time at 24.69, 24.69 for Ken Riddle. Larry Phillips hauling the mail coming off a corner 4. First lap time at 22.53, 22.53 for Larry Phillips in the 75P, the driver from Springfield, Missouri.
Well, Phillips, that American-made chassis, was the NASCAR champion throughout the United States with 27 wins at the highest percentage rate of any driver on asphalt short track in the NASCAR division. That's car number 75 of Larry Phillips.
And his second lap time at 21.98, 2 wounds. So Rodney Combs returning home to Pennsboro Speedway, underway right now in the green and white number 11 car. Seems typical, a WRC chassis out there for Rodney Combs in the 11C.
Exactly, the WRC South out of Charlotte, North Carolina now. Moved closer down to the NASCAR racing. In the WRC Racing South, Rodney Combs in car number 11.
His first lap time at 22.14, 22.14, the first lap time for the Lightning Rod, Rodney Combs. Also on the speedway from Danville, Illinois, here comes Bob Pierce in car 32. So the Lightning Rod coming in off the corner number 4. Grips the clock, a good time, 21.74 for Rodney Combs, your 6th quick qualifier. 21.74 for Combs, he is 6th quick. So Bob Pierce out of Danville, Illinois coming by right now for his first lap time. Turns the clock at 24.57, a 24.57 for Bob Pierce on lap 1.
Well, Pierce driving one of those dependable carburetor cars out of Chicago, Illinois. Pierce calls home Danville, Illinois. A new car for Bob here this afternoon. He was in another car here, the 32J, back in September for the Hillbilly 100.
Second lap time for Pierce at 22.91. Gets the car rotted and back underway as the green flag drops on the K1 car of Mitchell, Indiana's John Gill. And Gill having difficulties out there trying to keep the car away from that cushion. You can see what happened there. Got up on top of the cushion and immediately it wanted to go to the wall. So John Gill has his hands full as he negotiates through the 3 and 4 corner. First lap lap time for John Gill at 23.68 to 23.68. First lap time for Gill, getting dangerously close to the wall again in corner 1 and 2.
Oh, Gill definitely back in trouble again through turns 1 and 2 in that King Distributors American-made chassis, a regular at the Brownstown Speedway where he has visited Victory Circle numerous times, and Gill once again back in trouble.
So John Gill not having a very good qualifying session as his second lap time at 25.26.
Very proudly on the side of that Bullet Racing chassis.
So Denny Chamberlain underway with his qualifying. Also the other car on the speedway driving the 17M car. That is Dale McDowell. Dale McDowell in the 17M car. We did not get a hometown on the driver's sign-in sheet. Dale McDowell in the 17M. First lap time for Chamberlain at 23.52, 23.52. First lap time for Chamberlain. Again, 23.52 for Denny Chamberlain. Second lap time for Denny Chamberlain at 23.08, 23.08, the second lap time for Chamberlain. First lap time for Dale McDowell at 24.08, 24.08 for Dale McDowell in the 17M car. So Dale McDowell bringing his car off the number 4 corner will come in for his second lap of qualifying. Trips the clock at 23.86, a 23.86 second.
Wearing aboard the Kenny Ross Chevrolet Bullet Racing chassis. Waring, we talked about him back in 1979. He won the first Mason-Dixon race, which then was called the Mason-Dixon race here in October 1979, aboard a Gigolo chassis. The yellow number 1 out of Pennsylvania, Bob Waring.
So H.E. Vineyard coming in for his first lap time in the 24 car. Vineyard's first lap time at 24.02, 24.02. The first lap time for Powell, Tennessee's H.E. Vineyard in the car 24P. So H.E. Vineyard coming in off the number 4 corner, the driver out of Powell, Tennessee, will get his second lap time at 23.68, 23.68 for H.E. Vineyard. First lap time for Bob Waring Sr. at 22.54, 22.54, the first lap time for Waring Sr. Car of H.E. Vineyard. So Waring will be back underway with his qualifying in the 11W car. So Bob Waring Sr., what a storied career this gentleman has had, racing the late models, the modifieds, actually anything that's got 4 wheels on it, he'll take it around the track. 598 career feature wins. Bob Waring Sr. second lap time at 22.61, 22.61 second lap. Pennsylvania on the track right now to qualify the Cochran Pontiac sponsored 1G. Also out on the speedway, driving car number 93 is Jay Johnson. Jay Johnson in car number 93, unable to get a hometown on that driver. Also, Jay Johnson in car 93. First lap time for Lynn Geisler at 23.22, 23.22, the first lap time for Lynn Geisler. So Lynn Geisler slingshots it off of corner number 4 in on his second lap time. Trips the clock at a 22.18, 22.18 for Lynn Geisler in the number 1G car. First lap time for Jay Johnson at 22.85, 22.85 for Jay Johnson out of Wapella, Iowa in the number 93 car. So Jay Johnson, understand he is the son of Johnny Johnson, coming by for his second lap time at 22.87.
With Jack Boggs, one of the only of the three drivers to make every dirt track championship, as he is out on the Speedway, a winner in 1984, finished up last year in the 9th position in 1988 in car number B4.
So Boggs coming by for his first lap time. Trips the clock at 21.80. 21.80 for Jack Boggs. Let's see real quick. That would make him 7th quick on the evening so far. A 21.80 for Jack Boggs will make him 7th quick so far. As the green flag comes down for Ed Gibbons. Second lap time for Jack Boggs. We have got a new track record and fast qualifier. Jack Boggs at 21.30. 21.30 for Jack Boggs in the B4, your new top qualifier.
96 car out on the grid, and he sets the pace, Jack Boggs.
First lap time for Ed Gibbons at 23.59, and look out, we'll need a red flag. Red flag, all emergency vehicles to corner number 1. We'll need ambulances to corner number 1 immediately, please, as Ed Gibbons apparently had the throttle stick, did not get the brakes. Ed Gibbons is out of the car. He's got a slight limp, but boy, did he catch that car, catch that wall up there in corner 1 a ton. The driver out of Manning, South Carolina, Ed Gibbons. Northern Ohio, we're used to having these nice heavy wet tracks out here, and I just love the way this thing's in, so hopefully it'll stay that way tomorrow. You can see the safety crews have been able to extricate the 07 car of Ed Gibbons from the retaining wall, and it looks as though Ed Gibbons' weekend is done, and maybe the history of that car might be done as quickly as possible and get Scott Bloomquist and Hot Rod LeMans to get their qualifying in here and be able to complete the qualifying for the Dirt Track World Championship. Driver to take the green flag, driving the 1L car out of 6 Mile, South Carolina is Hot Rod LeMans. Hot Rod LeMans from 6 Mile, South Carolina on the track now in the 1L car. Also on the Speedway in the 18B car would be Scott Bloomquist from Mooresburg, Tennessee. First lap time for LeMans at 23.23. 23.23, the first lap time for Hot Rod LeMans. Green flag coming down right now for Scott Bloomquist. A final qualifier on the evening. Second lap time for Hot Rod LeMans at 22.28. 22.28 for Hot Rod LeMans on his second lap. First lap time for Scott Bloomquist at 21.35, second quick, 21.35 for Scott Bloomquist. If he can find 6 100ths or quicker, he'll be the top qualifier. Scott Bloomquist out of Mooresburg, Tennessee, picking him up and laying him down. Let's see what he does as he comes by for the final qualifier of the afternoon. His second lap time at 21.56, 21.56 for Scott Bloomquist, your top qualifier out of 96 cars on the afternoon, sitting on the pole for the 9th annual Dirt Track World Championship. $500 bonus going to Jack Boggs of Grayson, Kentucky, your top qualifier at 21.30. Up on the front row as the Dodge Daytona, courtesy of Rick Shively Auto Dealership in Harrisville, West Virginia, comes by. Your head starter for this afternoon's racing activity is Ed Frederick. He's assisted by Kelly Shealy. Working the corner down in corner number 1 is Denny Benjamin. Finishers will advance to the 100-lap feature event. Positions 4, 5, and 6 will make the consolation race. Remainder of the field then will be done for the afternoon. So the drivers have been instructed. The race will start midway between corner 3 and 4. Freddie Smith brings them around. Starter checks them over. Green flag out. We're underway with the first heat race for the 9th annual Dirt Track World Championship.
Well, as the green falls, Freddie Smith jumps to about a 3 to 4 car length lead over the remainder of the field as they exit turn 2 down the back straightaway.
Freddie Smith behind the LA Gear sponsored 00 car. Out in front as Dick Martin trades a little bit of sheet metal with John Mason as they battle for second and third, coming off of corner 4.
Good race in that second position as Mason looks down on the inside and he regains the runner-up spot spot over Dick Barton, drop kicking Barton back to third.
Miles Stitzinger sitting in the fourth spot. Chubb Frank runs fifth. Bob Waring in the sixth spot. Then it's Bob Hirschman, Tim Newman, John Gill, Jeff Akey, Paul Davis, Gary Stuhler, and Chuck Teets.
Freddie Smith in his first qualifying heat race is letting the race fans know why he is a two-time winner of this race here at Pennsboro Speedway.
And Freddie Smith, the 14th car out to qualify yesterday, held the top spot until Jack Boggs showed up with the naughty first car to qualify. Smith out in front as a little sheet metal being traded between Stitzinger and Chubb Frank as they come off of corner 4, battling for the 5th and 6th position.
Now, race fans, keep your eye on the battle for the ever so important third position between Dick Barton in the 43 car as they exit turn 3 and 4 this time.
And John Mason now starting to put some pressure on Freddie Smith as they head up into corner 1 and 2. Mason trying to catch up with the Kings Mountain, North Carolina driver as they're setting up for a good battle. Barton runs third by himself. Here's Chubb Frank on the backside, making a move on Miles Stitzinger for the fourth spot. Mason inside of Smith down the front chute.
John Mason looking on the inside of Freddie Smith as they came out of turn 2 that time. Mason is trying to back off just a little bit. We have not reached the halfway mark, so Mason has got plenty of time to take over that lead position.
A lot of racing laps to go, and Miles Stitzinger back in the middle of the pack in the 43 car. Gets passed by Chubb Frank, and Bob Hirschman now trying to put a move on Bob Waring as the leaders, Smith and Mason, go by.
41 car, Tim Newman, who is running off the pace in the back of the field, is having a little bit of sheet metal problems. You can see the hood coming up on the 41 car as he heads down into turn number 1.
As the field comes off the 3 and 4 corner, we have Freddie Smith and John Mason still in front as Paul Davis off the pace as he's having difficulty. The Fowler, Ohio driver looks as though Chubb Frank pulling to the top side of corner 4, and yellow flag will be out. First yellow flag will be out as Paul Davis's number 2 car ailing down in corner number activity this afternoon. He'll have to get around 3 cars in front of him, that being the 41, the K1, and the 11 car. If he can get around Waring and slide into that number 6 position, he'll be going to the consolation race. In the track, able to take his car to the top side of the track and try and use the slingshot to get around Freddie Smith. And as they come off the number 3 and 4 corner, we await the green flag restart. Green flag is out. Starters say excellent start. That's what we want. We're off and racing.
Back out, Freddie Smith. Here comes Mason down on the inside. Dick Barton, the New York driver, giving that Coors Light 14-car good ride. The track's very tacky, and Barton looking very strong. Here comes the trade for positions in the back of the pack.
Bob Hirschman and Miles Stitzinger battling hard for the 4th and 5th spots as they get the cross sticks. We're halfway home. Hirschman battling with Stitzinger over in corner 1 and 2. Mason trying to make up ground on Freddie Smith as they enter into corner 3 and 4.
Mason really hauling in down on the inside. Here they come, side by side. Mason looks like as they cross the stripes for that lap for John Mason.
John Mason got just what he wanted. Freddie Smith left the door open just enough for John Mason to take the lead. So the Millersburg, Ohio driver, John Mason, up in front at heat race number 1. Freddie Smith now back to the 2nd spot. Barton holds 3rd. Stitzinger 4th. Hirschman 5th. Waring in the 6th spot.
Mason very quickly pulling about 3 to 4 car lengths lead. Mason that Mountain Fire Turbo Blue Rayburn automobile as he heads down the back straightaway.
Back in the back of the pack, Pete. Gary Stuhler has made his move. He's got around Tim Newman and John Gill. Now he's trying to track down Bob Waring and make up a lot of real estate to take over the 6th spot.
Definitely Gary would like to see a caution come out on the Speedway now because he's got about 10 to 15 car lengths behind the 11 car Bob Waring. He definitely is in need of a caution, the Maryland driver of Gary Stuhler.
Well, John Mason and Freddie Smith, the race leaders, put a lap on Paul Davis as come by one more time. Barton holds down the number 3 spot with Stitzinger, Hirschman, and Waring trailing. Then Gary Stuhler in that 7th spot.
Back in the back of the pack, Bob Hirschman looks like trying to go down underneath the 44 car. Cannot get the job done that time. The pressure is now on Dick Barton. Barton running in that ever so important third and last qualifying spot to move into today's 100-lap event.
That's where our race is at right now for positions 3, 4, 5, and 6 as the white flag flies. Mason, your leader, with Smith second. Here's the 25 car of Hirschman trying to get around Barton for third. Stitzinger in the fifth spot, wearing sixth.
Bob Hirschman, who had started in the back of the pack in that 10th position, now challenging for that third position. He has just about a half a lap to go. Barton pulls away a little bit down on the back chute.
John Mason, your winner of heat race number 1. Freddie Smith second. Here's the battle as Stitzinger gets out of shape. It'll be Dick Barton third, Hirschman fourth, Waring fifth. Gary Stuhler will make the consolation race with a 6th place finish as Miles Stitzinger got loose on the number 3 corner, dropped off the racing surface. 7th spot will go to Tim Newman. John Gill will finish in the 8th spot. Jeff Akey to finish 9th. 10th spot will go to the 7T car of Chuck Teets. Then it'll be Paul Davis and the 43 car of Miles Stitzinger. So finishing in the 6th spot is the 42
Dirt Track World Championship on the front row. Right beside him, the NASCAR Midwestern champion out of Springfield, Missouri, Larry Phillips, in the American-made chassis, the 75 automobile on the outside. Phillips, in one of his few dirt appearances of 1989, sitting in a good position in this second qualifying heat race on the outside.
Row number 2, a couple of heavy hitters, Mike Balzano in the E1 and Mad Mark Banal outside of that second row in car number 30. And Pete, you said yesterday, if you like a dark horse in this field, keep your eye on the number 30 car of Mark Banal.
Exactly, Mark Banal teaming up with this team as we are set to go here down the back straightaway, and we've got trouble.
Well, problems on the official start there, as now another big problem happening down here as Bob Adams Jr. and B.A. Malgett get together on the front chute, and a lot of damage. Will need wreckers out to the front chute. Wreckers to the front chute, please.
In being given to the field. Mark Banal on the second row on the outside. We talked about the dark horse in the field right there, ladies and gentlemen, is my pick. The 30 car of Mark Banal. But the first thing he's got to do is run the top 3 in this heat race and then move into the 100.
Up the field, they pick up the pace in corner number 3. Coming through the 4th corner, starter looks them over. Green flag out, and we're underway with heat race number 2.
They go side by side into turn 1. Phillips staying up high. Look at Phillips all the way to the wall. And Phillips really putting the power down on the ground.
As they head down into corner 3 and 4, Larry Phillips, Springfield, Missouri, out in front as Randy Boggs gets into the back chute wall. Yellow flag will come out. Yellow flag will come out as Randy Boggs out of Grayson, Kentucky, car of Charging Charlie Swartz as we get set to go here with the second restart of this second heat race. Field comes around, starter checks them out, green flag out, and we go. And a problem on the start as Randy Boggs slams headlong into the inside retaining wall coming off of corner number 4. So red flag will be out as Boggs hits the retaining wall on the inside of corner number 4. We'll need a wrecker to the front chute. We'll need a wrecker to the front chute, please. Balzano bring the field around looking for a green flag. Green flag out, and we go.
We're down into 1. Mike Balzano, he wins the war as they head into 1. Balzano, your race leader at down the back straightaway.
Mike Balzano, the flood wall flyer in front. Larry Phillips, top side, running second. Mark Banal working the inside third. And it's Nathan Gerbero fourth. Jim Gentry fifth. Bob Adams Jr. sixth. Heavy pressure then from Paul Croft. Then it's Todd Andrews. Rodney Franklin, Sergeant Charlie Swartz. Don Gross, Mike Stoika, and Benny Hickle with 1 lap complete.
Race fans, keep your eye on Swartz now going around the 17 of Todd. Andrew Swartz moving up very quickly, working outside perimeter of the Speedway, going upstairs. Here comes Swartz, picks up another one that time around.
Well, Sergeant Charlie living to his name as he is up behind the 55A car of Bob Adams Jr. as Adams in the 6th spot. He's about to go 7th as Swartz on the top side entering corner 3. Beats Bob Adams into corner 3 and 4. Charlie Swartz now in the number 6 position.
Swartz now has his sight set on the 14 car of Jim Gentry, the 24 car of Nathan Durber.
that number 2 car of Charlie Swartz. Of course, it is a Swartz chassis. As he goes through the corners, the left front of the car slightly raises in the air, putting more weight on the right rear to drive that car harder through the corners. And you can tell Charlie right there, class's example as the left front gliding over the surface of the raceway. Charlie Swartz on the hammer, trying to pick off Nathan Durborough to move into the number 4 spot.
You know, he's been passing on the outside. Here he comes down on the inside to pick up Durborough and drop Nathan one more spot back. Charlie Swartz now has moved up to 4th position. He has been the show here in this second qualifying heat.
Well, the fans love it. You get a fast car to start on the tail and watch him work his way up through the field. Charlie Swartz is doing that right now. Up in front, it's Balzano, your first place car. Larry Phillips second, Mark Benall third. Swartz now racing fourth. Durborough is fifth. Jeffrey sixth. Bob Adams Jr. seventh. Then it's Todd Andrews, followed by Rodney Franklin, Paul Croft, Don Grossen, Benny Hickle, and Mike Stoica.
But Charlie definitely needs a caution. Caution to Shorthouse Swartz because he is about right now about 15 car lengths off the third place car.
And a spin up in corner 4, a spin up in corner 4 as Rodney Franklin gets turned around in car number 33F. And just as you were talking about, Pete, you must be a sightseer or something. Yellow. The pace leader will be taking the field down through the number 3 and 4 corner. Picks up the speed, looks off the number 4 corner. Green flag out, and we're back underway.
Very quickly, up on the outside goes Charlie Swartz. Cannot get the job done that time as it looks like the battles for second, third, and fourth between Swartz.
As they enter corner 3 and 4, Swartz going to the top side of the track, gets pinched off by Benall, loses some ground, and Swartz drops back about 3 or 4 car lengths, and Mark Benall, as the drivers like to say, just racing out there. He knew Swartz was back there, decided to tuck the rear end up into Charlie's front and cut the door off.
Exactly, as they head down the back straightaway. Larry Phillips starting to feel some heat from Mark Benall. Mike Balzano now, your leader's got a pretty good 3 or 4 car length lead over Phillips going into turn 1. As you can see, Balzano really booster-tailing that car, keeping the power on that E1 automobile.
I'm sure Mike knows he's got some awfully heavy hitters behind him, so he's got the wick turned up about as hard as it will go. As the leaders come through the 3 and 4 corner, Balzano in front, Phillips second, Benall third, Swartz is fourth, Nathan Durborough fifth, Jim Jeffrey sixth, young Todd Andrews holding down the 7th transfer spot.
Now Phillips, Balzano, and Mark Benall start to pull away just a little bit. Larry Phillips running right in the center of the racetrack. And Mark Benall, who had developed a push a little bit earlier in the race, has kind of straightened that car back out. As we can watch him through 1 and 2 that time. Benall has corrected that automobile.
It looks as though we could have a race shaping up for the lead as Larry Phillips seems to have found some extra power. Moving in on Mike Balzano as they come off of corner 4. A half car length between Balzano and Phillips for the race lead.
Phillips, who has been running the high side of the Speedway each and every lap, as we've got a car slowing down on the back straightaway. The 82 car going very slowly down into turns 3 and 4.
And looks as though Jim Gentry, who was running in the 6th spot, off the pace as he's losing a motor in the M&J Enterprises car. So yellow flag will be out. Yellow flag will fly as Jim Gentry cooks a motor entering corner number 3. And Mike Stoica. So the racers coming off the number 4 corner. Green flag back out as we're back underway. Racing heavy off the number 2 corner as Mike Balzano, Charlie Swartz now up to second, Benall in the 3rd spot, and Swartz trying to run down Balzano as they slide to the high side in corner 3 and 4. They're 3 wide off of corner 4.
White flag, one more lap. Swartz up on the outside. Benall, motor going up in smoke. Mark Benall's motor, there are a lot of smoke coming from the 30 car.
So I tell you what, talk about changes going on here as the leaders come in off the number 4 corner. Checkered flag in the air. Swartz goes to the inside of Balzano. It's a drag race. Holy smokes, we'll wait for the call there. is fourth. Don Groves fifth. In the fifth spot will be Rodney Franklin. Benny Hickle to finish sixth. Paul Kraft in the seventh spot. Well, the official scores have your race winner out of Parkersburg, West Virginia, in the E1 car, Mike Balzano, the United Midwestern Promoters 1988 point champion, driving the 7C car out of Norman, Indiana, Jim Curry.
We know you've got Billy Moyer up front.
Dick Bartusiak and Dave Hoffman on the third row. Then it's the 119 car of Jim Bernheisel. Then the 32 car of Bob Pierce, your first four rows as they come off of corner four. Green flag waves and we're underway.
Billy Moyer up on the high side of that Bill Day card. Moyer down the back straightaway, pulls away very quickly from the S1 of Mike Smith and Ron Davies.
As they head into corner 3 and 4 on this opening lap, Moyer with about a 6-car length lead over second place Mike Smith. Ron Davies battles for the third spot. Geisler runs fourth. Hoffman in the fifth spot. Bartusiak is sixth. And it's Bob Pierce seventh as the yellow flag wave. And some difficulties down in the number 3 corner. Will set the pace in the yellow and red number 21 car. He and Mike Smith as they come off the number 3 and 4 corner. Starter checks them over. Green flag out and we go.
Oh, Moyer and Smith getting together down in turns 1 and 2. Both drivers doing an excellent job of keeping the cars out of the guardrail.
Could have been a very bad situation, but excellent driving as Billy Moyer leads the pack off of corner 4. Ron Davies second, Mike Smith third. Then it's Lynn Geisler and Dave Hoffman battling for fourth and fifth. Dick Bartusiak in the sixth spot. Bob Pierce running seventh. And it's Jim Bernheisel, followed by the 18 car of Denny Chamberlain. Then the number 9 car of Larry Miller, Jim Curry, Jack Walker. Then it's Tom Gump. And we have a car, I believe, stopping up here on the top side of corner number 1 and 2. As that's the number 7 car of John Provenzano. As his car apparently lost. Mike Smith is third. And it's Dave Hoffman, followed by Lynn Geisler, Bob Pierce. And the 90 car of Dick Bartusiak as Moyer picks up the pace, brings the field around. Green flag out, and we go.
Very smooth that time going through 1 and 2, but we have trouble up in turn 4.
A yellow flag coming out as Jack Walker out of Newark, Ohio, lost it coming off the number 4 corner on the start, but his car junior will set the pace as they come through the number 3 and 4 corner. Turns up the wick just a bit, comes off corner 4, green flag flies, and we're underway.
Davies having a little bit of trouble, was running second. A bad push developing in that automobile. Davies, let's see if we can correct that as we are approaching lap number 1 of 15 here in this third qualifier.
Leaders in on lap number 2. Moyer extends the lead out a little bit over the second place car of Ron Davies. Mike Smith still runs third. Dave Hoffman is fourth. Lynn Geisler fifth. Bob Pierce in the sixth spot. Jim Bernheisel racing seventh.
Billy Moyer very quickly flexing his muscle here in this third qualifier. Moyer in the Bill Day car, Shaver, small block Chevrolet powered automobile. I think Moyer here this afternoon, one of the only cars running a Shaver motor, which is out of the California area.
Well, it's been very successful for that Bill Day tire team as Moyer extends almost a full straightaway length lead over the second place car of Ron Davies. Right now the battle shaping up. Problems on the 34 car of Dave Hoffman as a little bit of that blue smoke comes out from the rear. Mike Smith making a move on Ron Davies down the back chute to take over the second spot. Smith in the S1 takes over second, gets wide. Davies coming back at him on the inside off of 4.
Mike Smith losing the runner-up spot. We'll have to keep an eye on Dave Hoffman's car as he goes into turn 1. A lot of smoke as he backs off the throttle, but once he is back on the throttle, the car just seemed to be not smoking, but as he lets off, the car 34 of Dave Hoffman showing just a little bit of smoke in turn 1 that time around. The 20-year veteran from the Keystone State having an excellent Ford Bullet Racing chassis. But he's got one more spot to go to put the car into the 100-lap feature, and he is going up very high on the outside. A costly mistake for Hoffman, and it drops him back to position.
So Hoffman, a very scary ride there as he got up on the embankment in corner 4, able to bring the car back down, but now dropping back in. Ron Davies off the pace on the back chute, as is Lynn Geisler in the 1C car. So a lot of cars off the pace as we hit the halfway point. At the halfway point, Billy Moyer, your race leader. Mike Smith is second. Third spot right now would belong to Ron Davies in 71D. Then it's Bob Pierce in the fourth spot of the car 32. Geisler runs fifth. Dave Hoffman sixth, and Dick Bartusiak now into the number 7 spot as he gets Denny Chamberlain in the 18 car, putting pressure on Bartusiak for the 7th and final transfer spot.
Well, you know, in the previous lap, Geisler's car, as it was going down the back straightaway, just seemed to stop for 2 or 3 seconds, and all of a sudden refire. I don't know whether the car came out of gear, but Geisler now is back setting sail, and he is now working on the 32 of Bob Pierce.
Well, Jim Bernheisel takes his car to the infield area. Some damage to the right front of the 119 car. As the racing continues on, Billy Moyer out by himself as Mike Smith puts a lap on the number 7C car of Jim Curry, trying to catch up with Billy Moyer in this third heat race, and Moyer having a bit of a problem coming off of corner 4. Mike Smith chewing up real estate, catching Billy Moyer.
The battle now for the 4th and 5th position, right there as they cross the stripe of Bob Pierce and Lynn Geisler. It's Illinois against Pennsylvania for the 4th, 5th position as Dave Hoffman runs 6th in car number 34. The last and final transfer position for the Consolation race is the number 18 now, Denny Chamberlain. Chamberlain moving into the last and final transfer spot for the Consolation race in the 18 automobile.
As Billy Moyer takes the 21 car down through the 3 and 4 corner, I believe we'll have 3 racing laps to go, 3 to go. As Billy Moyer in front, Mike Smith racing second. Ron Davies is third in the 71D. Fourth spot would be the 32 of Bob Pierce. Fifth spot, the 1C of Lynn Geisler. Dave Hoffman sixth in the 34. Dennis Chamberlain seventh in car 18. As Lynn Geisler gets around Bob Pierce to move into the number 4 spot.
About a 4 or 5 car length, but the late stages of this race, Smith has been closing the gap slowly, but it is all going to run short for the S1 of Mike Smith as they come out of the last and final turn. The checker's waiting.
And as they come off the number 4 corner, your winner of heat race number 3 will be Billy Moyer. Second spot will go to Mike Smith. Looks as though Ron Davies will finish third in the 71D. They'll advance to the Dirt Track World Championship. Lynn Geisler to finish fourth. Fifth spot will go to Bob Pierce. Dave Hoffman sixth, and Dennis Chamberlain in the 7th spot. So finishing 7th in that third heat race was the 18 car of Denny Chamberlain. Steve Francis will set the pace as they sit on the front row. So Moore and Francis bring the field around. Starter checks them over. Green flag out. We're underway. Heat race number 4 is off and running.
Donnie Moran very quickly coming out of that 4th starting position before they got to the turn number 1, running second. Now drop kick back to 3rd as Francis moves down on the inside.
As they enter corner 3 and 4, Larry Moore in front, Steve Francis second, Donnie Moran third, Tim Hitters fourth, Jeff Purvis fifth, Ronnie Johnson in the 6th spot. 7th spot will belong to Pat McGuire.
Johnson that time going very high in that black number 5, the Tennessee driver, trying to make up that lost ground as he was right on the back of Purvis going into 3-2 that time and had to back off because the outside fence was coming fast.
Coming into complete lap number 2, Larry Moore still up in front. And as we look towards the back, the middle part of the field, the big surprise here, Wade Knowles in car 66 back in the number 9 position.
Knowles, who had started in the 5th position, dropped back very quickly and is still on his way back. I don't know if the car is having some difficulty or what is going on, but Knowles is trying to correct the problem. If he is going to do so, he doesn't have a lot of laps left here in this qualifying event.
Well, as this race continues on, car length lead over the second place 15F of Steve Francis. Donnie Moran runs third in car 99. The 68 car of Tim Hitt is fourth. Then it's Jeff Purvis racing fifth. Ronnie Johnson sixth. Matt McGuire seventh, followed by Bob Cowan, Wade Knowles, Greg Weiss, Greg Gustin, Ken Riddle, and Gene McNeely and Paul Garvin.
You know, you talked about the Wayne Knowles story. I think they just missed the setup. It appears to be because the car is very, very loose in the turns. A lot of sideways motion for the 66 car Wayne Knowles. Knowles definitely would like to get in the top 7 and put him in the consolation race. He had a little trouble with the 99 automobile that time.
Little bumping and banging going on as Donnie Moran got wide in 1 and 2. Tim Hitt dropped to the basement, and he and Moran banged wheels, but able to bring things under control.
Trying to challenge. Moran goes very high. Here comes Hitt.
Tim Hitt tried
inside.
Tim Hitt takes over the third spot. Sorry about that beat. Moran going right back at him as they're waging war for that third spot. Donnie Moran and Tim Hitt. And now Tim gets a little bit loose. Jeff Purvis says, thank you much. We'll take over the fourth spot.
Here comes Hitt back down on the inside. Tim Hitt proving that he can run with the top dogs anywhere in the country as he is going side by side with Moran and Purvis for that third and final transfer position.
Well, Purvis clear on the outside of corner number 2 up against the guardrail. Tim Hitt takes back the fourth spot. We're halfway through with this fourth heat race. Moran gets wide. Here comes Hitt battling for third.
All eyes are on Donnie Moran, Tim Hitt, and Jeff Purvis.
Larry Moore is your race leader. Steve Francis comfortably in the second spot, but a 3-car battle for third, fourth, and fifth.
Donnie Moran, the defending champion for this race, is fighting for his life here in this qualifying heat race. Hitt had tried him on the inside. Starting to get just a little bit of breathing room as he's pulling about a 2-car length lead off of Donnie Moran. But that gentleman who's running in the 5th position, he is not familiar running 5th, the 15-car Jeff Purvis.
So as this race is winding down, Larry Moore out in front, Steve Francis racing second, Moran is third. Trying to make up ground to move into that second spot is Donnie Moran. Tim Hitt racing fourth. Jeff Purvis in the 5th spot. Ronnie Johnson is racing 6th. Bob Cowan in the 7th spot.
Now, battle developing for the runner-up spot. As Moran now starting to pull up on the back bumper of Steve Francis. Francis trying to hang on. Here comes Moran down on the inside as they're getting into lap cars down the back straightaway.
Leaders coming in on the white flag lap. One more racing lap to go. Larry Moore in front. Steve Francis trying to hold off Donnie Moran. Tim Hitt and Jeff Purvis side by side as they battle for fourth and fifth.
One more go round. It looks like Larry Moore will win this one pretty well, hands down.
Larry Moore, the 1987 Dirt Track World Champion, will pick up the win for heat race number 4. There's the battle for second. Donnie Moran to finish second. Steve Francis third. Jeff Purvis fourth. Tim Hitt fifth. Ronnie Johnson will finish sixth. Here's the battle for seventh. That'll go to Bob Cowan. So finishing in the 7th spot at heat race number 4 in car number 42 is Bob Cowan. 6th spot will go to the 5J car of Ronnie Johnson out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Beside him in the Mark Richards Racing Bullet drain-powered automobile, Steve Baker out of the University City of Morgantown in the Ed Corbin Trucking 1 automobile.
Well, as you mentioned, Pete, yesterday during the qualifying for the race fans that were not here, Joe Meadows in that white and blue number 33 reminded me of a sprint car out there on this half-mile track as he was laying that thing sideways into corner 1 and 2 and just staying on the hammer the whole way around. For heat race number 5, as he and Steve Baker come off the number 3 and 4 corner, starter will look him over, likes what he sees, green flag out, and we go.
Johnson jumping right on Joe Meadows, dropping Meadows back very quickly to third. Meadows looks like gathers the car back in. The 24 car of Eddie Carrier, as it's a chess game in the back of the pack. Everyone jockeying for positions.
One lap down, Steve Baker, your race leader. Dave Johnson second. Joe Meadows in the third spot. Eddie Carrier runs fourth. Paul Davis fifth. Willie Kraft sixth. And Johnny Johnson in the seventh spot as Kraft climbs over the wheel of the 16 car of Paul Davis, able to bring it back in, but he loses 2 positions. And Kraft off the pace, gets tagged by the 1H car. Eddie Smith gets into the number 13 car of Frank Riddle. And we'll need a yellow flag out as some action down in corner number 3 and 4. The yellow flag will be out as we have problems down in corner number 3 and 4. We'll need wreckers and possibly ambulances down to the 3 and 4 corner. Racing in the 6th spot, that would be the number 99 car. That is Johnny Johnson out of Wapella, Iowa. And then it'd be the 1H car of Marty Horton sitting in the number 7 spot, followed by the 75M car of Butch McGill. Then it's the 33MO car of Bob Mosky, followed by the number 7B car of Lou Bradich, then Andy Bond in the A10, Willie Kraft in the 83 car, and the H3 car of Junior Jarvis. So the 5th heat race slowly getting themselves back up to racing speed here as Steve Baker will bring them off the number 3 and 4 corner. Brings them in, starter looks them over, green flag flies, and we're underway.
Dave Johnson very quickly goes side by side with Steve Baker into turn 1 and 2. Baker wins the war that time, but here comes Johnson right back downstairs.
So the race right now up in front is Steve Baker trying to hold off Dave Johnson. Joe Meadows rides third. Eddie Carrier fourth. Paul Davis now fifth. Johnny Johnson in the 6th spot and John Horton racing in the 7th spot.
Steve Baker has made this dirt track 2 previous times, 1986 and 1988. Last year his best finish, 7th. And he would like to put that Corbin trucking car into the field here this afternoon. But Dave Johnson, once again, ducking down on the inside. Baker giving Johnson all the downstairs here this afternoon.
Well, a good battle going on up in front. Problems in corner 2. Problems in corner 2 as Johnny Horton got turned sideways. They got Marty Horton getting turned sideways over in corner 2. Willie Kraft involved in another car also involved over there. Was not able to find out the other car that was there as there was 3 cars involved. So yellow flag will be out. A yellow flag will wait.
McGill driving the G&G Salvage Zavakis chassis automobile. The car based out of Clarksburg here. McGill out of West Union. He brings the car as looks like a lot of sheet metal damage on the car. I do not think that Willie Kraft, he'll evade that easy, as Kraft looked like took a hard hit in that 83 car. Definitely not been Willie Kraft's afternoon in this heat race. He's
make it back out. Tim Hitt would get Rookie of the Year according to the points.
Well, see, McGill's car has refired with the help of Tim Hitt over there, helping Butch to get refired. Those guys compete on a weekly basis against each other here in Central West Virginia and also on the Star Circuit for 1989. McGill has refired the car. They've got the sheet metal as he looks like he'll come back out and join the tail of the field, so it's not over yet.
Rookie of the Year race not over yet as Tim Hitt and Butch McGill have been going neck and neck. And I believe just scanning the points, the way it's going to work out, whoever finishes better today, no matter if it's consolation or a feature event, will get the Rookie of the Year. That's more or less the way it's working out to be. So the flagman waving Marty Horton over for a consultation with the pit stewards, and you can see a lot of blue smoke coming off that right front tire as the sheet metal pushed down on the right front tire of Horton's car.
I think Marty better take that car pit side. It doesn't look so hot. It looks like things are just pretty well hanging off. I've seen a lot of smoke as the car, at least a tar rubbing somewhere, and also the rear spoiler about ready to hang on, and looks like they need some baling wire or something to wire that car back up, as he was involved in that turn 2 skirmish. Looks like they're going to start ripping stuff off, which well, they're going to leave the quarter panel on, but the spoiler's going to try to come off. So looks like Marty's going to try to go. The young driver out of Ashton, Kentucky, he said, I'm here, I'm going to try to race with what I've got left.
So 3 laps complete in heat race number 5. Field comes off the number 4 corner. Green flag out, and we're back underway as Steve Baker leads the field up into corner 1 and 2.
Meadows and Eddie Carrier looked like they were going to do battle for that 3rd position as Meadows heads down the back straightaway. Here comes Carrier diving down on the inside. Nowhere to go. Carrier ducks on the back tail of Joe Meadows. Dave Johnson, definitely right now in this 5th qualifier, looks to be just a little bit faster than Steve Baker, but Johnson does not want to make any critical mistakes, but looks like now with the field starting to tighten up, Johnson is going to have to make a move here as Carrier and Meadows now starting to pull up.
Well, the first 4 cars battling hard for positions 1 through 4. Paul Davis racing in the 5th spot in the green and white 16. Johnny Johnson is 6th in the black 99, and Bob Muskie racing 7th in the 33 MO.
Johnny Johnson in that black number 99 now, who was running in the 6th position out of Iowa, has been a regular here at Pennsboro Speedway for the last 10 or 15 years. Matter of fact, I think he has appeared at every Dirt Track World Championship since we started back in 1981. Johnson has made the race only 1 time. That was in 1983. And looks like this afternoon he will have to make it through the consolation race in that car out of Iowa, the 99 J&J Steel car.
Well, as we come in on the halfway point, Eddie Carrier having problems as he tries making a move on Joe Meadows. Meadows now trying to make a move on Davey Johnson to move into 2nd, but Johnson beats him into the 1st corner. Steve Baker, the race leader. Johnson 2nd. Meadows racing a close 3rd. Eddie Carrier coming to a stop on the top side of corner number 2. So the LaVerne, Kentucky driver in the 24X out of the action as the yellow flag waves for the 24X car of Eddie Carrier. In the 7th spot in the number 7 car, and it's Andy Bond, Butch McGill, Junior Jarvis, and Marty Horton as we get set to go back to racing. And green flag out, and we're back underway.
That gentleman is running in the 4th position, trying to hold off Johnny Johnson, Paul Davis. Davis, one of those competitors, been here numerous times before, and still trying to make the Dirt Track World Championship. Made it 1 time in 1986. Would like to get the car in here this afternoon. And driving the Charlie Swartz Racing chassis, Don's Carpet Service car. They are falling now off of the pace. Him and Johnson, they've got to pick it up as the first 3 cars now starting to pull away, Brent.
Well, Joe Meadows working to the inside of Dave Johnson, trying to take over the number 2 position as they come by the start-finish line. But he can't seem to find what he needs to get around Johnson as Meadows slides back into that 3rd spot. The the 75 car now, Butch McGill, up into the number 7 spot. So Butch McGill, that race with Tim Hitford, the Stars ROY Award still continues as McGill into a Consi starting spot.
You know, we can see the track now starting to dry out just a little bit now in this 5th heat race. As we can see now, not as tacky as it was the first heat race about 2 hours ago. In this 5th heat race, definitely the drivers in this race had to make the necessary adjustments. It definitely looks like Steve Baker, Mark Richards Bull, has made that adjustment here this afternoon because he is setting sail now as the laps tick away, starting to get quicker.
Getting very quick as Steve Baker apparently had the car set up for a dry, slick track as this track is slowly starting to become. As the leaders come by, Steve Baker still in front. Joe Meadows and Dave Johnson continue to tussle for 2nd and 3rd. Paul Davis is 4th, Johnny Johnson 5th. Bosky and McGill battling for 6th and 7th as the yellow flag comes out for Junior Jarvis, the London, Kentucky driver, as he spins the H3 car around on the inside of corner number 4.
Speedway, Andy would like to get that car into the Consolation race, so he's only have about 2 or 3 laps to do it. So here they come to get the green.
Steve Baker brings them off of corner number 4. Green flag waves. 2 more laps of racing to go in heat race number 5.
Butch McGill, he notches his position up 1 more as he drops Bob Mosky into 33 back. McGill now up to 6th, net car number 75.
Coming in on the white flag lap, 1 more lap to go.
Well, it looks like with nothing barring happening, it looks like Steve Baker, as he goes in the last final turn, will be your 5th heat race winner.
Leaders come in on the checkered flag. Your winner will be Steve Baker, Dave Johnson 2nd, Joe Meadows 3rd, Paul Davis 4th, Butch McGill 5th, Johnny Johnson 6th, and Bob Mosky in the 7th spot, followed by Andy Bond, Junior Jarvis, and Marty Horton. So finishing in the 7th spot is the 33 MO car of Bob Mosky race as the hometown fan Rodney Combs sitting up on the pole position.
Oh yeah, Rodney Combs sat on the front row of the first one back in 1981. Almost won. It was 14 laps shy of doing it. Jim Dunn going around him on the outside. He's sitting up front. Outside of him, out of Virginia, Booper Bear, 2nd generation driver.
So Rodney Combs, Booper Bear pick up the pace in corner 3 and 4. Bring the field around. He checks them over. Green flag out, and heat race number 6 underway.
Well, Booper Bear getting a big jump on Rodney Combs, about 4 or 5 car lengths. As they came out of 4 that time, Booper in the Bobby Allen car known as the Baltimore Bullet up front.
So Booper Bear, the race leader. Rodney Combs racing 2nd. Buck Simmons is 3rd. Hot Rod LeMans racing 4th. Kevin Gundaker 5th. Rick Eggersdorf in the 6th spot. Racing in the 7th spot, that would be Billy Scott.
Keep your eye on Kevin Gundaker. Gundaker, formerly out of St. Louis, Missouri, now called St. Charles home of the Gundaker Realtor. Good run for this young gentleman last weekend up at the Pittsburgh Speedway. Gundaker working on LeMans as they come out of turn number 4 that time.
2 laps are in the books, 13 to go, and he raced number 6 as Booper Bear tries to extend the lead over Rodney Combs. Buck Simmons riding in that 3rd spot. Kevin Gundaker now up to 4th. LeMans is in the 5th spot. Eggersdorf racing 6th. And Billy Scott getting pressure now from Bruce Hordusky for the 7th and final transfer spot.
Well, back to that Kevin Gundaker story. He worked on Hot Rod LeMans, who started 3rd and is slowly fell off the pace. Gundaker now pulls the real estate between him and LeMans. Gundaker now looking at Buck Simmons.
And a battle for the lead. The lightning rod. Rodney Combs is alongside Booper Bear as they come through the 3 and 4 corner. Bear to the outside. Combs to the inside. It's Bear with the lead by a car length.
Rodney Combs getting that WRC car just a little bit out of shape that time, but the pro that he is, gather the car in and straighten the car back out. He is back on the back bumper of Booper Bear.
Back in the middle of the pack, Bruce Hordusky, the Erie, Pennsylvania driver in the Bayview Auto Supply car, starting to make a move as he is up to the number 6 position.
Hordusky with an excellent run here. The driver out of Erie, Pennsylvania, the Bayview Auto Parts Masterville chassis car. get around Rick Eaglesworth as we've got a battle in the back straightaway.
Here they go again. Rodney Combs is going to try and set up the youngster Booper Bear. It's the veteran versus the young driver as they come off a corner four. Combs momentarily in the lead, but Bear gets him back.
Booper Bear trying to hold his own groove, staying up on the outside, not letting Combs intimidate him, as each and every lap Booper is staying where he wants to be on the speedway.
Well, Booper Bear up on the top side of the track. Rodney Combs again down to the inside of the green and white number 11 car. As they come through the 3 and 4 corner, Bear slides just a bit. Combs catches him, but can't quite get around him.
Well, I think as the laps took away, a Rayburn car of Bear starting to get just a little bit loose, and Bear keeping his foot in the throttle. Bobby Allen's repaired car has got a battle on his hands right now. Buck Simmons still running third, but look who's closing in fast.
Kevin Gundaker on the move in the orange and yellow 11 as we hit the halfway point. 8 in with 7 to go. It's Booper Bear in front. Rodney Combs second. Buck Simmons racing third. Kevin Gundaker is fourth. Hot Rod LeMans in the fifth spot. Bruce Wardusky racing sixth. Rick Eggersdorf seventh. Then it's Billy Scott, followed by Randy Kimmel, Bob Baldwin, Brad Goff, Jay Johnson, Mark Myers. Then the 1C car of Don Clark.
As we cross the halfway point, I think before this book is written, Gundaker is going to have a chapter in it because he is working on the outside of Buck Simmons as they exit turns 3 and 4.
Rodney Combs again trying to set up Booper Bear in the 3 and 4 corner. Bear gets a little bit wide, Combs at the inside line, but Bear carries the speed off the corner.
Booper Bear comes with a little bit more gear, I think, would get him out of that turn number 2. That is where he's gaining the ground on Booper. Booper keeping the car up on the high side. Here comes the battle once again. The war is on.
The war is on. Rodney Combs would like to get another checkered flag, be it a heat race flag. He doesn't care as they're side by side down the front chute.
Each driver giving each and every one the line. And maybe next time looks like they'll be getting into lap traffic. Here comes Combs down on the inside again.
Their nose to tail. Rodney gets the car a 3/4 of a length in front. Combs closes the door. Rodney Combs now your race leader as they come off a corner four.
Brent, that time, just as soon as Combs made the pass, he went where Booper was running, up on the high side. That is what Combs wanted to be each and every lap as he had tried Booper before.
And you can see Rodney Combs now extends the lead to about 5 car lengths. Buck Simmons continues to run third, getting heavy pressure from Kevin Gundaker. The leaders now in lap traffic as they try and get around Don Clark and Mark Myers.
Combs going very quickly down on the inside of Don Clark. It looked like Booper having a little bit of trouble. Combs, an expert in traffic on this racetrack. Booper, a little bit unexperienced. He's taking his time, but look at the battle now for third developing.
It's really shaping up as the white flag waves. One more lap to go. Combs and Bear running 1 and 2. Gundaker trying to get to the inside of Buck Simmons to move into third as they have got lap traffic in front of the 3rd and 4th place cars. LeMans is racing 5th. Wardusky in the 6th spot. And it looks as though we're going to have the yellow flag will be out. Yellow flag will be out. Yellow flag out as we have some problems on the speedway. So yellow flag coming out as we have a problem up on the top side. Set to go racing here to complete this one lap for the 6th and final qualifying heat race. Rodney Combs brings the field around. Green flag out and we're underway. So as they battle down the back chute, Rodney Combs in command as it looks as though he will be the 6th heat race winner as the checkered flag is in the air. Your winner will be Rodney Combs of heat race number 6. Second spot will go to Booper Bear. Buck Simmons third by a nose. Kevin Gundaker fourth. Bruce Wardusky in the 5th spot. Hot Rod LeMans to finish 6th. And finishing in the 7th spot would be the 17S car of Billy Scott.
congratulations. You know, you've been to Pennsboro now for the Dirt Track World Championship twice. You've started up front twice, but you've never fared too well at the end.
Yeah, we've always had right off in the race. Usually we've had motor problems. Last year we had a cylinder foul out, and it really hurt us, so we just pulled in because I didn't feel like we could compete down on a cylinder. So today the motor's running real well. I feel like everything's in good shape. We're starting in a good spot, so I look forward to my best finish yet here.
Well, you know, this afternoon every driver's got the same concern. They've never seen Pennsboro Speedway this way before. It's kind of way different, and I know the tire situation is going to be a big factor here this afternoon.
Yeah, we just went out and ran a few laps, and we got a reading on the tires. I think I learned quite a bit, and I think we'll probably be able to make a good decision here today. It looks like it's going to wear tires, and I know it's definitely going to be a factor on what rubber we run.
Well, I'll tell you, we've got some money for you. Rick Gross, the promoter here, has got some money from Pennsboro Speedway, also from Rodec out of California, a qualifier here. We've got $200 for you, Scott. Congratulations, the best of luck here to you this afternoon.
Thank you. We're glad to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give you a nice round. Scott Bloomquist, your second fastest qualifier. Now the gentleman sitting up front, and no stranger to Pennsboro. He has sat up front before. Webbsville, Kentucky. They call him Blackjack. Blackjack Boggs. Jack, this afternoon you're up front, and here at Pennsboro, that's the place to be when you've got $48,000 on the line. You've won this before. I know there's a little bit of butterflies because you've done this before, but what's it look like for you today?
Well, you just got to get up front. You got to go. The track's different than it's ever been. I don't know what tires to go with for sure. We're still deciding. Just hopefully we make the right choice and we can go.
Well, Jack, we've got $500 for you for getting fast time. I know you like to have that $5 and $48,000 more.
Yeah, right.
Jack, Rick Gross presenting you with the fastest qualifier. The best of luck here to you this afternoon.
Thank you much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Boggs. Let's give him a nice round of applause. Webbsville, Kentucky. Now we're ready for the Consolation rolling out on the Speedway.
So once again, some extra dollars being put out to the top two qualifiers.
Virginia's Tim Hitt. Right beside him, it ever happens to happen this way. Two rookie contenders on the outside, the 75 car, Butch McGill. They're both coming out of row number 5.
Could be real interesting as we headed into
The northern part of Kentucky, and no luck at all for Ronnie Johnson once again.
Well, no luck for Ronnie Johnson or Hot Rod LeMans, but Lady Luck on the side of Paul Kraft and Larry Miller, as they'll be alternates that'll make this 25. So Bob Hirschman and Todd Andrews bring the field around, awaiting the green flag. Green flag out, the Consolation race underway.
Jeff Purvis very quickly out of that fourth starting grid, drops down on the inside. He is going for the second starting grid.
As they enter corner 3 and 4, it's young Todd Andrews out in front of the Hamill Enterprises Teddy Marketing sponsored 17A car. Purvis runs second, Hirschman third, Kevin Gunbaker now racing fourth. Geisler in the fifth spot, followed by Paul Davis in the sixth spot, and Bob Pierce seventh, Bob Waring eighth, Butch McGill ninth, and Tim Hitt in the 10th spot, and Gary Stuhler having problems on the top side of corner 2 as the Westminster, Maryland driver Gary Stuhler off the pace in corner number 2.
Here they come, ladies and gentlemen, out of turn number 4 with green flag. Once again, the 17 car, Paul Andrews, takes the lead down into turn 1. Hirschman this time holding on for the runner-up spot. As we head down the back straightaway, Hirschman running second. Here comes Purvis looking on the outside. We get one lap completed. Score lap number 1 for Todd Andrews. Running in the 4th position. Followed by Kevin Gunbaker, Paul Davis, Bob Pierce, Bob Waring. Yellow flag is out. We've got problems out in turn one up against the outside retaining wall. It's the 42 car of Bob Cowan. Bob Cowan losing the handle and backing into the outside retaining wall.
Sponsored 17A car as he'll start to pick up the pace, bring the field around to get this 25-lap consolation event back underway. Andrews presses the button, brings him around. Green flag out, and we go.
Known as the Batmobile. Out in front, a regular at the McKean County Fair Raceway. Todd was here back in September, and bad luck struck him. I hope today things will be a little bit different, but he's got 23 more go-rounds to go.
2 laps have been completed as the field comes by. Todd Andrews still up in front with Bob Hirschman racing in the second spot. Kevin Gunbaker up to the top side, and a problem up on the top side of corner 1 and 2 as Paul Davis, Bruce Hordusky, Tim Newman, Randy Scott, and I believe Benny Hickle all tangle up on the number 1 corner. We'll need all the wreckers and push trucks up to the number 1 corner, please.
And for Bruce Hordusky and Paul Davis involved up there. I see the 21 of Gibby Steinhaus heading to the pit. Steinhaus with the left front tire down on the 21 car.
I'd like to pass out some congratulations this afternoon as the folks of the Pennsboro Middle School were having a little drawing happening this weekend with the winner. So Todd Andrews picks up the pace, brings the field around. Green flag falls, and the consolation race back underway. So Todd Andrews takes him off the number 2 corner down the long back chute. Bob Hirschman racing in the second spot. Lynn Geisler is third. Kevin Gundaker in the 4th spot. And it's Bob Waring 5th. Tim Hitt 6th. Dave Hoffman 7th. And then it's Butch McGill 8th. Rodney Franklin 9th. And Johnny Johnson racing in the 10th spot.
Very early in this consolation race, I can see a battle starting to develop for that 4th position as Waring, Tim Hitt, and Dave Hoffman are trying for that last transfer position with Kevin Gundaker.
And Tim Hitt putting the fender right against Bob Waring as they come off of corner 4.
Bob Hirschman. Caution flag is out.
A yellow flag is out. A yellow flag is out as we have difficulty on the speedway. So yellow flag coming out as I believe some difficulty over in the number 3 corner.
Exactly. The young driver, only his 2nd appearance ever here at the Speedway, would like to make the 1989 Dirt Track World Championship. Here they go.
So Andrews brings him around. Green flag waves from assistant starter Kelly Sheely as we're underway with this consolation race for the Dirt Track World Championship. Andrews and Hirschman running 1 and 2. Geisler is 3rd. Gundaker 4th. Tim Hitt battling Bob Waring down the back chute for the 5th spot.
I think the race fans are going to be treated to a real race for that 5th, 6th, and 7th, trying to get around Kevin Gundaker. It's Waring, Hitt now coming down on the inside. They are trying. Hitt now goes side by side with the 25-year veteran Bob Waring, but cannot get the job done that time.
Jeff Purvis racing in the 13th position, trying to dispatch of the 18 car of Dennis Chamberlain, moves up into the number 12 position.
Well, Purvis, 2-time World 100 winner, has won here before at Pennsboro Speedway, the Hillbilly 100, but has never won this race here. His best finish ever a few years back. He has made 5 of these races, and he would like to make it 6 today.
A good battle shaping up for the 3rd and 4th spot as Lynn Geisler and Kevin Gundaker having a war. Waring slides way high. Tim Hitt now into the number 5 position. Dave Hoffman trying to get around Waring to move up into the number 6 position.
Look at Kevin Gundaker.
Something up as the race leader, Todd Andrews, off the pace for some reason. Everybody bunching up. Johnny Johnson spinning. Yellow flag will be out. Yellow flag will be out as the race leader, Todd Andrews, off the hammer for some unknown reason going down the back chute. Don't know why he come off the gas as they headed down the back chute, but the yellow flag did come out. And championship, Todd Andrews, the race leader in the 17A car, as he'll bring the field down through the 3 and 4 corner, await the green flag restart, picks up the pace. Assistant starter checks him over, green flag out, and we're underway. As they come off the number 2 corner, Kevin Gundaker and Bob Waring Sr. running the high line of the racetrack as Gundaker trying to get around Lynn Geisler to move up into that 3rd position.
I think Gundaker wanted, Gundaker and Hitt getting together, and we've got cars once again piled up.
So yellow flag will come out as Kevin Gundaker and Jeff Purvis stop on the top side of corner number 4. 7 complete with 18 to go. So Todd Andrews brings the field around. Green flag waves in the Consolation event back underway. So as they blast down into corner number 3 and 4, Todd Andrews continues to lead this Consolation event. Bob Hirschman 2nd, Lynn Geisler 3rd. It's Tim Hitt 4th. Bob Waring Sr. in the 5th spot. And look at Paul Kraft, the driver out of Sumter, South Carolina, in car 57. Started this race in an alternate position and now up to the number 6 spot.
Paul Kraft has been working his way up in that 57. And now working down on the inside of Bob Waring. Keep your eye on the red 57. Also, the battle now back up front. Bob Hirschman that time looked on the outside of the 17 car of Todd Andrews.
Well, a good battle shaping up for the lead as Andrews extends the lead to 2 car lengths over 2nd place Bob Hirschman as they head into the number 3 and 4 corner. Hirschman looking at the top side of the track. Waring and Kraft get together, but they're able to keep themselves going.
Todd Andrews went into turn 1 that time a little bit lower line, trying to look for a little bit of moisture in the racetrack as it is starting to dry out in the middle, but there is still a lot of tackiness down on the inside. That's where Andrews is keeping the car.
Good racing for the first 6 positions as the field comes down the front chute again. Todd Andrews trying to hold off Bob Hirschman. Geisler running in the 3rd spot, and it's Tim Hitt 4th, Bob Waring Sr. on the outside of him, then Paul Kraft.
Waring now getting a little out of shape coming out of turn 2, the veteran, choosing to run the upstairs of this racetrack here this afternoon. Bob Hirschman had looked on the inside of the youngster, Todd Andrews, 2 or 3 different times, as Andrews' car is just getting a little out of shape as he gets between 1 and 2, but he gathers the car in very quickly. The car has got a lot of straightaway speed.
A lot of straightaway speed, and Tim Hitt out of Weston, West Virginia, off the pace in car 68 as it looks as though Hitt is heading pit side.
Bob Waring now moves into the 4th position, now challenging Lynn Geisler in the 1C.
We're halfway through this Consolation event, a race for the lead. Bob Hirschman puts the Daly's Natural Juice Products 25 car up in front. Andrews back to 2nd and a spin up in the number 3 and 4 corner. Bob Waring Sr. trying to keep his car going as he's losing lots of ground. A yellow flag will come out. Yellow flag will be out as Bob Waring Sr. spins up and would be the number 99 of Johnny Johnson and the 18 car of Dennis Chamberlain. Larry Miller in the number 9 car, then John Gillen K1, Kevin Gundaker in the 11 car, Paul Kraft in 57, and Gibby Steinhaus in the 21 car. Green flag out, and we're back underway.
This has been a wild and woolly Consolation. Look at Franklin up on the outside. Rodney Franklin shoots by 2 cars on the outside in car 33.
The Virginia Leadfoot has got the lead on the foot. There's no doubt about it as Franklin puts his car into the number 3 position as they come off of corner 4.
on the outside. Look at that. There's a lot of moisture as he is really trucking up on the outside. Now he goes into the runner-up spot.
I think Rodney Franklin has found something out here that nobody else has found yet. There's a cushion up on the top side of 1 and 2. You go high, you'll find traction. Franklin is on the move.
Rodney Franklin of Franklin. Local research. Charlie Swartz Racing Chassis has won many times up at the Hagerstown Speedway. And Franklin keeping that right rear tire just up on the apron and putting the power to it as he comes out of turn number 2, setting his sights on Bob Hirschman, your race leader.
So Bob Hirschman up in front, Franklin running the rim as he rides in the second spot. Todd Andrews hangs on to third. Racing fourth would be Lynn Geisler, and it's Johnny Johnson fifth, John Gill in the sixth spot, followed by Dennis Chamberlain, Butch McGill, Paul Kraft, Larry Miller, Kevin Gundaker, and Gibby Steinhoff.
Well, it looks like the battle is going to start now for the fourth position as Paul Davis goes around for fifth. John Gill, that is. John Gill, my correction. And car number K1 Gill now is on the move.
John Gill is running the same line as Rodney Franklin up on the top side of the racetrack. Apparently that's the fast way around as Gill putting the K1 car now up into that fourth and final transfer spot.
Well, Gill watching Franklin from the back of the pack. Franklin went up there about 5 laps ago. Gill said, hey, this must be the way around this racetrack through 1 and 2. Gill very quickly, and he's come from the back of the pack, now in a qualifying spot.
5 more racing laps to go. 20 are in the books with 5 more to go as Bob Hirschman continues to lead. Rodney Franklin in the second spot. Todd Andrews racing third. John Gill is fourth. And it's Lynn Geisler followed by Johnny Johnson and Dennis Chamberlain, Butch McGill, Paul Kraft, Larry Miller, Kevin Gundaker, and Gibby Steinhaus to complete the field.
Bob Hirschman, your race leader, using a little different line. He is staying down on the inside. Hirschman out of Swan, Maryland, the Daly's Fruit Drink sponsored car. He likes to run low. He likes to duck the car down, put a lot of gear in the automobile. That's what Bob Hirschman is doing here this afternoon.
And John Gill goes by Todd Andrews to move up to the number 3 position. Gill is a man on a mission, but time is running out.
Just a little bit. He knows he's in the show. He's going to be very careful and bring that 33 car home in the runner-up spot.
1 more lap to go. White cloth is displayed as Bob Hirschman up in front. Franklin racing second. John Gill third and Todd Andrews fourth. And it's Lynn Geisler in the fifth spot, followed by Johnny Johnson, Dennis Chamberlain, Butch McGill, and Paul Kraft, Larry Miller, and Gibby Steinhaus. So as the field comes in off the number 3 and 4 corner, here comes your 25-lap Dirt Track World Championship Consolation winner, Bob Hirschman. Second spot will go to Rodney Franklin, John Gill third, Todd Andrews fourth, Lynn Geisler will finish fifth, Johnny Johnson sixth, Dennis Chamberlain seventh, Butch McGill eighth, Paul Kraft ninth, Larry Miller 10th, and Gibby Steinhaus in the 11th spot. So the 4 cars advancing to the 9th Annual Dirt Track World Championship. Finishing in the 4th spot in the 17A car is Todd Andrews from Duke Center, Pennsylvania. 3rd spot will go to John Gill in the K1 car out of Mitchell, Indiana. 2nd spot will go to Rodney Franklin in the 33F from Winchester, Virginia. And your consolation race winner, how about a round of applause driving the Daly's Natural Juice Products number 25 car, Bob Hirschman from Swanton, Maryland.
One of the top 4 cars that qualified. Only one driver has made this race before, Rodney Franklin, who made it 2 times. The other driver, Bob Hirschman, this is his first go-around at the Dirt Track World Championship. Also, John Gill